Hello everyone, welcome to GED's skill builds for Borderlands 3. Today I am doing Amara, even though myself personally, I am never going to play Amara in the actual game. But I mean, she's got some amazing skill trees, absolutely cool as heck, and if you like elemental damage and CC and just like totally pounding the face of your enemy with fists, it is crazily good. So, I'm just going to run you through a quick build of what I would do if I was ever to play Amara, because she's just cool. I mean, she's cool. She's got a lot of nice stuff. Here we go, guys. Check this out. First off, I'm going to be maining in the Fist of the Elements red tree because I feel it offers the best balance of CC to damage, and it can just do some crazy things. We'll start off with her first skill here. The Phase Grasp. Amara summons a giant fist that bursts from the ground and locks the target enemy in place for a few seconds. Some enemies are immune to being grasped and just take a flat damage. It's just like a nuke. It has 16-second cooldown and 7 seconds of CC with a ton of damage from the fist itself. It's just like, it does everything. It's absolute all-arounder. Moving on to the first row. Anima. Amara's status effects deal increased damage over time and have increased duration. Her action skill status effects deal further increased damage. So basically, if you're using elemental weapons or you got your gun going, you're doing a ton more status effects and damage out of those. Steady Hands. Amara gains increased weapon handling and accuracy. If you want to be super accurate with those weapons, there you go. Infusion converts a portion of damage dealt by Amara's weapons into action skill element. So again, this is also just extra damage on top because you're converting gun damage into elemental damage. I think for this build, we're going to max out the status effects because it just gives you a lot more versatility in your elemental types and damage on those. So if you do dots, if you do poison, corrosive, flame, fire, whatever, you're ticking away harder, ticking away longer. Tempest in the second row. Amara deals increased elemental damage and shock damage is further increased. Illuminated Fist. Amara gains increased melee damage and her melee damage is converted to her action skill element. I'm not a fan of this one just because I don't like to run up and melee enemies. I like to shoot them with guns. That's the whole Borderlands 3 thing. Shoot them with guns. Some people like the melee build though. Wildfire. When Amara applies a status effect to an enemy, it has a chance to spread to a nearby enemy. That's cool if you like spreading, but we don't know how long that radius is or how wide it will actually spread. And then of course you have Soulfire converts Amara's action skill damage to incendiary damage if you want to change it up to fire. I don't feel like this one is really necessary to convert your action skill damage to fire, but your mileage may vary. We're going with Tempest because it offers the best bang for the buck. With that shock and elemental damage increase, it just all around buffs her damage output on her abilities and her elemental weapons. Down to the next one, third row, the Eternal Fist. Amara summons a giant fist that bursts from the ground and locks target enemies, same as the main skill, but whenever the enemy is killed, the new fist spawns out and grasps a new target. So you can get up to 4 targets at a cooldown of 20 seconds, slight increase on cooldown, but that is absolutely cool, guys, like absolutely amazing. I would totally take this as soon as you get to this very quick level, what is this, level 11 skill, and gosh, just a chaining fist, you like just keep chaining and chaining. That's so good. And I wonder if the bonus targets actually does extra damage per target, like if it just target damage lockdown, that's just, oh my gosh. We're running out of points to put in this skill tree because there's 0 of 1, only 1 point in this row. Dread. Amara's gun damage is increased for a few seconds after a grasped enemy is grasped. Whenever a player kills a grasped enemy, their weapon is instantly reloaded. Getting a little bit ahead of myself. Gun damage 15%. Oh, this is amazing. And you instantly reload after you kill the target. Like, combined with the chaining, combined with the dread, oh, you're just damage out the wazoo. But we have to go back and put 4 points somewhere. So where are we going to go back? We're going to go back all the way up here to our flat damage increase. We just get flat damage for 4 points, and there you go. 32 converted damage is converted to elemental. So we're getting our bonuses with our elemental status damage and elemental effect, boosting that up. Just a free damage increase basically with that synergy. Allure is the third one in this third row. Amara's action skill creates a singularity that pulls in enemies. Now, Amara only really gets one augment for her abilities, and if you take this one, it means enemies are going to be closer in for when you kill them, and then you can apply elemental damage to all of them, and then that grasp will definitely chain, to more enemies. So I think you should probably take this to augment your grasp, just because you want those enemies to be all grouped up, constantly that chain just jump into the next enemy, and there you go. Fourth row, here we go. Indiscriminate. Amara's bullets that damage enemies, keyword, you have to damage the enemies, you can't just shoot walls, have a chance to ricochet and deal damage to further nearby enemies. Ricochet chance and damage increased if the target is phase grasped. So, guys, of course, 100% you want this skill. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is probably one of the best skills I've seen in all of our trees, because once you're grasping and voiding them in with Allure, you are ricocheting your bullets, causing more elemental damage to the phase grasp target and all of his buddies, and you're just applying status effects out the wazoo. There's your combo. Deep Well. Amara gains increased magazine size with elemental weapons. It just means you're reloading more or reloading less, because when you kill a target, you're instantly reloaded. Catharsis. Whenever Amara triggers an elemental effect on an enemy, when that enemy dies, it explodes, dealing her attuned elemental damage. So, here's even more wombo. You're kind of like stuck in a little thing here. You're gonna want magazine size if you don't like reloading, but then again, when you kill a thing, you reload instantly. I feel like with this skill alone, you can kind of bypass this. You don't need as many bullets, because you want those enemies exploding and doing crazy damage to all targets. It's just like an AoE monster build. The fourth one in the fourth row. Amara summons a giant fist that bursts from the ground and locks the target enemy. Enemies that are grasped are linked, and target damage is shared. I mean, that's cool. That sharing the damage is cool and all, but I feel like if your fist is jumping from target to target and seeing them, I feel like that's slightly better than linking damage. But depending on the radius of the link, like if the link goes around the entire screen, this one could potentially be better, because you're just spreading that damage everywhere. It all depends on the radius of the link if you're going to use this one or not. But we're going to leave it there for now. Fifth row. Amara summons a giant fist that bursts from the ground and locks the target enemy in place for a few seconds. After grasping the target enemy, large fists and smash the area. That's cool. That could be cool. But I feel like, again, the chaining CC would be more useful late game. But if you want to just obliterate targets, this one could be. I mean, all three of these abilities are really dependent on your flavor of build, because they all kind of do the same thing. They CC and they do damage, while also reloading your magazine every time you kill an enemy and ricocheting bullets to close enemies. So, sustainment. Amara gains lifesteal whenever she deals elemental damage. Are you kidding me? Lifesteal for elemental damage? Oh, that sounds so delicious. And conflux. Whenever Amara applies a status effect, she gains a chance to randomly electrocute, ignite, or melt that enemy. So I'm not gonna joke around here. We're gonna max the lifesteal for sustainability, and then you'll see what I do in a second. Forceful expression. Amara's guns deal bonus elemental damage based on her action skill element. Flat elemental damage bonus. It's so good. This is their best tree by far, guys. I love the elemental damage build. And then because you're doing elemental damage out the wazoo with all three of these buffs, you need to go back and just max this. You need to flesh out this tree because it is, it's delicious, deliciously good. So now we have 17 skill points. We have both of these and our trifecta of damage. So we're going to skip over here. We're going to skip over here to the blue tree, the mystical assault tree, and see what we can do. In the first row, killing an enemy grants Amara a stack of rush. Activating her action skill consumes a rush stack. For every stack of rush consumed, her action skill damage is temporarily increased. So you're basically you're doing a barrage of bullets, and then you're killing enemies, and then you're just consuming that killed enemy to do more damage with your action skill. And then we have fast hands. Amara's reload speed, weapon speed, and mode switch speed are improved. So basically you're swapping weapons faster. And violent tapestry, applying status effects, grants her a stack of rush. Activating her skill consumes all rush stacks again. For every stack of rush consumed, Amara's status effect chance is temporarily increased. I don't feel this one or the reload are really that amazing because status effects aren't really that hard to apply, I don't feel. But you definitely want to go with do harm, max it all the way. So after you kill enemies and you just pop out that big hand of doom, you are doing way more damage. Alacrity. Amara gains increased reload speed for every stack of rush. After consuming rush stacks, the bonus is increased, so you're reloading faster. But if you remember in our other skill tree, we get a free reload every time we kill a grasp enemy, so I don't feel like that would be super amazing, right? Transcend. Amara gains increased accuracy and critical hit damage after activating her action skill. This build basically revolves around that action skill, so you get increased crit and accuracy, so you're not missing and you're critting. Guys, max this all the way, of course. That's a no-brainer right there. Restless. Amara gains increased action skill cooldown rate. We gotta spend 2 more points in this tree, so why not get a little bit more fast action skill, cooldown, so you're basically making it come out there a little bit faster than normal. Then we got a portion of Amara's skill damage of her action skill is returned as health. If you're having problems sustaining in late game, you could potentially use Soul Sap as kind of like a sustainer, right? A lifesaver. But the thing is, you might want to keep that singularity on to pull all the enemies in, depending on how far the radius is for that singularity. Here we have Deliverance, which is Astral Projection. We don't use Astral Projection in this build. We use the Hand of Doom, basically, from the red tree, so ignore that. Ascendant. All action skill augments gain increased effects. You get Lifesteal, you get Allure, you get Glamour, you get Stillness of Mind, you get Revelation damage. Just you have to, right? You have to. You're stuck in the blue tree right now. So here you go. Enemies damaged. This is Stillness of Mind. Enemies damaged by Amira's action skill become phase locked until the duration ends. So this one's kind of confusing a little bit. If Amara targets an enemy with phase grasp, enemies near the grasp target are phase locked. So, this is basically when you use your phase grasp, other targets around the hand will become phase locked. It's confusing, but basically you're CCing a little bit more targets, and you're making basically her the ultimate CC build if you want to use this trait. We now find ourselves with 6 more points left over. And we got to get down to another level. So we got to go back, and we might as well just get a little bit of reload speed. and then go over here and get a little bit of status effect application. This first tree kind of offers the best. We don't need reload because, again, we're reloading instantly after we kill an enemy with our action skill activated. 2 more points left. We're almost done here. We have reverberation, which is an action skill. We're not going to change our action skill, so just ignore this. From rest, Amara gains improved fire rate and charge time. Amara's using elemental weapons all day long, so I feel like charge time is going to play a huge factor with Maliwan weapons. Laid bare, enemies take increased damage from all sources after a few seconds from being damaged by Amara's action skill. So you're just getting a flat damage increase to your action skill target. And what happens when you kill that target? The action skill jumps to a new target. I think you know where we might be going with this one. Wrath. Amara gains increased gun damage. And this effect is increased after she activates her action skill for a few seconds. So you have a choice between gun damage or all damage, basically. I would go personally with all damage. You know why? Because if you're doing all damage and you got the singularity on, you could potentially be chucking grenades into a group of enemies and just obliterating them with some sort of elemental grenade, or elemental effects get increased damage, not just gun damage. It has more potential to do more damage in the long run. So there's your build, guys. You're revolving around the Fist of Doom, the CC, the Singularity, pull them in. You're just ricocheting bullets around those targets. You're doing crazy amounts of elemental damage to them, and you're life-stealing. Oh, life-steal's so good. And you're just got all these buffs rolling, and then once you start killing enemies, you're getting stronger and stronger with rush stacks. You use your action skill again, it hits even harder. You're just going in an endless cycle of CC pain and doom. That's Amara for you guys. Again, me personally, I love her, but I'm not going to play her because, of course, I'm a flak main. Tell me what you think, guys. And you Amara players out there, good luck, because you're going to wreck face.